Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the Byjus exam prep IAS for the Hindu analysis of 7th March 2024. Now, before I begin with the analysis, one important announcement: the National Scholarship Test for the UPSC CSE 2024 would be conducted by Byjus on 10th March. So this Byjus NST, BNST as we call it, the registrations would close on the morning of 10th March exactly at 6 a.m. and you can give this particular test at 11 a.m. So you should not wait for it. You should register now, because if you give, you can get as high as 90% scholarship on the programs offered by Byjus. So do register, go to this link, register and give the test on 10th March 2024 at 11 a.m. So that's one of the very important announcement. Now if you look at today's news articles, you can see for mains we have taken 12 articles and for prelims 4 articles. So overall you can clearly see there are 16 articles that we have chosen. Trust me, I could have taken 3-4 more articles. I had initially taken 20 articles for the day. And then I felt, no, it's not possible. We cannot cover 20 articles in, let's say, 1 hour, 10-15 minutes. So on such a newspaper day, on such days when there are so many articles which seem to be important, those people who have studied newspaper or who have done the newspaper every day, they are always going to have an edge. Why? Because let me tell you, right from your 6th article, that is, are legislators immune to bribery charges? This is the landmark judgment by the Supreme Court in news, and you all know tomorrow we are going to do an explained on this on YouTube. Similarly, hundreds rally in Ladakh seeking statehood. So many times we have done in the past. Take 13,600 crore on offer. SC advises Kerala. We have studied it many times. Kerala and your central government, they are sparring on the money. A lot of questions being raised about the federalism. Similarly, human-wildlife conflict, a state-specific disaster. Yesterday, Kerala's cabinet has announced this particular thing. Now again, human-wildlife clashes we have studied in these sessions. Defense deal with China will fetch non-lethal weapons for Maldives. Yesterday only we studied Maldives. Similarly, Hyderabad man forced to fight for Russia dies. Again, we saw it yesterday, have seen 2 times before that too. US is using Philippines as a pawn in South China Sea. Again, an editorial or article done yesterday by us. So if you look, 7 articles are repeated articles. So we will do them, but quickly. Now, so new ones are 5, out of which 4th and 5th are related to each other. What is this? Trees in Corbett fell prey to nexus, says Supreme Court. Resorts near tiger reserves have turned wedding destinations. Yesterday, Supreme Court has come down heavily, and I'll tell you, against a former minister of Uttarakhand, Mr. Harak Singh Rawat, and some of the forest officials. When I was reading this, I was amazed to see that the politicians and the bureaucrats together in a nexus, they have felled 6,000 trees. And of course, Supreme Court yesterday came heavily on them. But personally, if you ask me, these people should be taken for treason. This is nothing less than that. How can they cut so many trees, and that also in Corbett? You're not talking about, just imagine doing something, a crime in the heart of capital. If faraway places, if you do, that's also wrong. But then you might not be caught, it might not be reported. Jim Corbett, which is the first tiger sanctuary, such an important reserve, so famous, there they have done. See the audacity of these people. For some money, that might be in crores, they have done all this. So Supreme Court will say what all Supreme Court has talked about this, but then they should do much more. And these people should be penalized, and whatever penalty is imposed on them has to be less. It is less only because more can be imposed on them. Similarly, ensure Pakistan does not divert loans to food defense bills. India is saying to IMF, because IMF is going to give some money to Pakistan, and we are worried Pakistan will do the same thing that Pakistan does with its money, that they will use it for defense. And you all know Pakistan has got recently a new government, and that government would be very, very, interested in getting some money. So we'll come to and look into this. Now, totally two new topics. The tale of have money, buy miracle drug. Now, in this article, they are talking about a drug which is being used in India for weight loss programs. The writer is questioning this, not only the doctors, but also the drug regulators, that how these drugs are being used when they have not been tested in India. Very, very important article. And the third one, remembering the forgotten women of science in India. Now, this is a topic that can come in prelims like anything, but I've kept it in mains. Reason for that is, I still remember in 2013 mains, there were two mains questions. Contribution of the women who have, of course, contributed in Indian freedom struggle. So we had to mention all those women who have contributed here. Similarly, there was another question, all those foreigners who have contributed in our struggle. So such questions have come in the past. So similarly, tomorrow there might be a question that contribution of women when it comes to science in India. So very, very interesting article over there. So you can see, guys, 5 very interesting articles which we have never covered, and then 4 articles for the prelims. Navy commissions INS Jayu MH-60R helicopter squadron. So where they are doing, we will see Lakshadweep. We'll also talk about a bit about the 9-degree channel. If anyone can tell me right now, post in the comment box, 9-degree channel divides which islands in Lakshadweep. Similarly, PM launches India's first underwater metro line in Kolkata. Anyone from Kolkata, tell me between which stations this is being launched. Similarly, President presents Sangeet Natak Academy Awards. And the last one, El Nino is among the strongest on records. This is according to the World Meteorological Organization. So let us start this with the first topic. Now, let me tell you everyone, today by some reason my laptop crashed in the morning. I have no idea how did it crash, and that's why I have made this PPT. I have not put a lot of content here. In every article hardly 1 or 2 lines are mentioned, so I will be writing a bit. So first of all, India is taking a very, very tough stance. What tough stance? We are saying that whatever money is being provided by IMF to Pakistan, there should be stringent monitoring of this particular money. Any emergency funds that Pakistan is being given by IMF should keep a close eye on this. We are worried that Pakistan may use this money for their defense bills or to repay the loans that they have taken from other countries. So this is the stance that India has made. There is we have a nominee. You don't have to remember the nominee's name, so I'll not tell also. Nominee is there in IMF's executive board, and there, when this discussion was going on about $3 billion short-term standby agreement that was granted by Pakistan, that was granted to Pakistan by the fund last July, this particular thing has been clearly specified by our nominee. Now, whenever in this article it is clearly mentioned, in the past, whenever there have been talks about money being given to IMF to Pakistan, India usually abstains. That means we do not vote. Neither we vote for, favor or against this. But This time also we had been absent. Now, January, also when there was a review going on as a part of $700 million tranche, then also we were absent. But then this time, when yesterday these discussions were going on, our nominee has clearly asked IMF that please ensure this money does not go to wrong places. That is, it should be used for their developmental purpose. We do not have any problem with the Pakistani people. We understand that Pakistan requires this money. Pakistan was hit by severe floods in 2022, which has hurt their economy. There has been a very sharp inflation when it comes to Pakistan. We know that, and the common janta, common people of Pakistan, they are suffering. Their economy is having a lot of external shocks, and all this has resulted that they are not doing good when it comes to their economy. But then we are saying that this money which is being given to them should be used for their developmental purposes, should be used for their people, not for their defense purpose or defense purchase. So this is the thing that has come here. We don't have to know much more than this, but if anyone, you can see here, if you are interested, the nominee of ours is Krishnamurthy Subramanian. He is the nominee in this IMF board. But then it's more than sufficient. We don't have to go beyond this. Now, coming to the second article. You can see Murli Neelakantan is the principal lawyer at Amicus, and Dr. Parth Sharma is a public health physician, researcher and founder of Nivarana, a public health advocacy and information platform. So here, in this article, these two gentlemen, they are saying that for the past few weeks, in a lot of media, that is in newspapers, they are continuously printing about a magic injection. What this magic injection does? It guarantees weight loss. Now, these two gentlemen are saying the problem with this magic injection is that it contains a drug called semaglutide. Now, that's the first thing that you have to remember. Now, in the very introduction, I told you that this drug, which is being used here, historically, it has been used to treat diabetes, specifically type 2. As you all know, diabetes type 2 can be to some extent reversed if the people change their lifestyle. Lifestyle changes, and one of them is if obesity comes down. So clearly, this drug which is used to treat diabetes type 2 is also used to treat, or it also resulted in weight loss. Now, till here, everything is good. The problem is that the media, the newspapers, they are not mentioning that these drugs which would be used for weight loss, they have not been approved for sale as far as India is concerned. So now there would be some questions in your mind. If it's not been approved for sale, how is it that in India this miracle drug is available? So basically, as you all can understand, the tale of have money, buy miracle drug. So they are writing, people who are mostly affluent, those who have a lot of money, they are being prescribed this particular medicine. And they are, of course, buying it using their own money. The problem is, media has not told not only the fact that this has not been approved for sale in India, plus media is also not reporting that global pharma companies in their press releases continuously are asking the patients not to buy this. So this article is accusing the Indian media that they are ignoring the press releases by global pharma companies where they are saying that this drug should not be used. So clearly, if I write here, the media on one hand is doing publicity of a drug which is not yet tested in India. On the other hand, they are not reporting what global pharma companies are saying. Clearly, global pharma companies are worried. They are saying that, see, there might be significant side effects of this drug. So this is the main point that they have raised. Beyond this, the writers, they are saying that if you look how the drugs are allowed to be sold in any country, and specifically in India, see, any drug that is approved for sale, and everyone remember we are talking about India, only when there is a licensee of the global brand owner or an Indian subsidiary, they have conducted enough clinical trials. So initially, for any medicine, there should be sufficient number of clinical trials. Now, even after clinical trials, when they are approved, regulator makes it mandatory that for 2 years, every adverse events that has happened because of that particular medicine must be reported. Now, in this particular case, sometimes for drugs, global pharma companies stay out of drug launch in India. In some cases, in the article it is being mentioned that in very few cases, it might also be the case that global pharma companies, they remained out of Indian market. Now, in those cases, patients can get a license from drug regulator based on the prescription by a physician that they need to import this drug for personal use, and sometimes even hospitals can do the same. But then they are very clearly saying that this is an exception. This does not happen many times, but very few times this way also the drugs can be taken. Now the problem is the doctors in India, they know this miracle drug about which we talked in the previous slide has not been tested in India. That means no idea how will these injections react to a particular body. Think about a person suffering from diabetes, or think about a person suffering from hypertension. Now already that person would be taking some medicine. For example, let's say the person is suffering from diabetes and is, let's say, taking insulin. On top of that, along with insulin, this miracle drug is also prescribed. Now we have absolutely no idea what this miracle drug along with insulin will do to that particular patient. And in that scenario, you all can understand that there might be a big problem for the patients. So that's why in this article, the writers, they are questioning that there are questions for doctors. That how are you, prescribing these medicines when they have not been tested, when their clinical trials have not been done? Is there any incentive for the doctors that they are going to get when they prescribe these? Are the doctors trained that they identify and treat any wrong effect of this disease? So nothing of that is being done. And in this article, they have mentioned about a case, or I would say one example has been cited by them. They are mentioning about etc. This is a drug used to treat blood cancer. So, in this article, the writers are mentioning also about a drug called etc., which is used to treat blood cancer. Now, in this case, what happened is the drug regulators issued an alert because lots of spurious drugs had come to India. And this done by the drug regulator was also done only when WHO had raised alarm about this. Now you will say this is good that the regulator had acted very swiftly, quickly and raised a hue and cry about this. But in this article, the writers mention here also there is a problem. What is the problem? That Mumbai police had made a lot of arrests in October 2021, had raised this matter, and the regulators only acted in 2023. So you all can understand the first question that they were raising was for the doctors. The second question that they are raising is for the drug regulators. What are you doing to control these import of drugs? What are you doing, to deter few doctors who are doing this from stopping and from not doing this? And the third question is for the government. Why are you not caring? It's not that it's only a problem of rich man. It cannot be, because we said that only the rich are taking this drug. But then the government should prioritize this also. That's the third point that they are making in this particular article. So that's your second article of the day. Now the third article, and everyone, I have taken almost, I'll tell you, this second and first paragraph is almost written in front of you. And why I have written is because these are giving us some very interesting facts about the scientists, that is women scientists, as far as the Indian science is concerned. Now what has happened here is, you all know we are on the eve of the Women's Day, and there have been many women scientists who have contributed a lot in science. Now with regards to India, please see 4 facts. Number 1, the Indian Academy of Sciences was started by physicist and Nobel laureate C.V. Raman in Bangalore in 1934. They are saying it has never had a women scientist controlling it at the helm. Number 2, academic statistics suggest women make only 14% of India's working scientists. Only 15% of faculty members in various research institutes of the country are women. Clearly dismal numbers. It has to go up. There is no doubt about that. Third, the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Science and Technology, given annually by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, that is CSIR, for notable research in biology, chemistry, physics, engineering, mathematics, medicine and environmental science. Till date, this many awards have been given in the last 65 years. And out of this, only 20 women scientists have received this. They received it for the first time in 61 and last time in 1920. Everyone, I would expect you to remember some of these data, which clearly indicates that when it comes to science, there is clearly a lot of bias against the women. Now the problem of this lecture is, everyone, you can see here, many books have been written. All of you, you can see the images of the books which is shown over here. And in this, they have mentioned about all those women who have contributed in the field of science. So for example, let me change the pen color. They are saying that there is a British chemist. Her name is Rosalind Franklin. She contributed to the discovery of DNA structure. Similarly, there is Jocelyn Bell. She was an astrophysicist who discovered radio pulsar. And this article says both these women were unrecognized in their careers. Now they come to India. In this article, they mentioned that there was one Rajinder Jeet Hans Gill. Now this lady, she had to wear turban. She had to wear boy's uniform so that she could study mathematics in a school in Punjab. Similarly, Kamala Sohni, she sat on a satyagrah in ISC Bangalore so that ISC Bangalore could allow the women to join the institute. In this article, they talk about, the ISRO's team of rocket women who played very, very important role in Chandrayaan 2 and the third missions that they were applauded. That was done. So as I said, many books have been written. No need to remember the book's name. But then, one of the book's name is Lilavati's Daughters. The Women Scientists of India. Now everyone, do you have any idea who is Lilavati? Each one of you. Any idea? Now this is something that's concerning art and culture or medieval history. If any one of you know, please write in a minute. I will talk about Lilavati. Very, very important. So as you can see, Lilavati's daughter. So in this book, it is being said that every women scientist, they are inheritor of Lilavati's intellectual, legacy. Similarly, many other books are mentioned, many other scientists are mentioned in this entire article. I'm leaving many of them because it's frankly not possible to know and remember everyone. But then one very, very important. In 2020, there was a book on E.K. Janaki Ammal. Who is she? She was the first Indian woman who was awarded PhD in botanical science. This is way before independence in 1931. Now you all know in UPSC they have asked questions on Rakhmabai. Suddenly out of nowhere Rakhmabai was asked in socio-religious reform movements. So why not that tomorrow there would be a question on E.K. Janaki Ammal, that she was the first Indian woman to get this PhD degree in 1931. By now I hope everybody would have written about Lilavati's daughter, or Lilavati basically. See, please remember, in medieval era, around 12th century, we have Bhaskara II. He is by some people said to be the greatest mathematician of medieval India. Wrote a lot of books, and his most famous book was Siddhant Shiromani. Now, some people say that here he had written a book also known as Lilavati, which was named after his daughter, in which there were many problems were mentioned, questions were mentioned on algebra, on geometry, on mathematics, and this book was written for his daughter so that the daughter could learn mathematics from this particular book. So people say that this is, this is a legend. that it was written for his daughter Lilavati. That's why, the book's name, Lilavati's daughter. That is, now whoever is coming up as scientists in India, they all are inheriting the legacy of Lilavati. Many of you might be knowing about glimpses of world history where another father had written letters to his daughter to teach history to her. Hopefully you all know who had written glimpses of world history and for whom was it written. Please comment in the comment box. Hopefully you are clear about Lilavati. If you had commented, great. Let us move to the next article. Trees in Corbett fell prey to greedy nexus, says Supreme Court, and resorts near tiger reserves have turned wedding destinations. Both these articles have come. Now trust me, since yesterday when I read that even today in India, how can this happen? You all would see, let me tell you, the audacity by which this thing has been done. 6,000 trees, they were cut. Of course, everyone remember, illegally. Now, why were these 6,000 trees cut? On accounts of ecotourism. Now, I don't understand, how is this ecotourism where you are cutting so many trees, and all these trees were cut in Jim Corbett, and clearly there was a nexus here between the minister and the officials. And on this, Supreme Court has come up with its judgment. So these are the few things that you have to remember. So if you all see, Jim Corbett, I hope you all know, is in Uttarakhand. Everyone, to my previous question, the other father who wrote the books or letters to his daughter, the answer was Jawaharlal Nehru, and he wrote the letters to his daughter Indira Gandhi from jail. Now, another question, who and what was the original name of Jim Corbett? So, give me 1 minute. Post in the comment box, I'll tell you this here. Started in 1936. This is India's oldest plus most prestigious national park. From here only we started Project Tiger in 1973 too. So that's why I am saying, look at the audacity. You are not doing it behind your house or in your own backyard. You are doing in a national park that's the most reputed one. And there you have done, look at the audacity of these people, their nexus. So everyone, Jim Corbett's original name was Heli National Park, established in 1936. So let us come to this. Supreme Court has come down heavily. Yesterday, a 3-bench judge led by Justice Mr. Gavai, he has come and he has directed now that the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they should form a special committee. Why this committee should be there? So that this committee studies and looks into the action of tiger safari. Should it be permitted in the buffer areas of tiger reserve or not? You all know the buffer areas, which is the core area. There also these safaris were beginning. In the morning when I was looking at the website of Corbett, I saw almost 7-8 different zones where the safaris could be done. Of course, we all love to see the tigers, but then it's their house. You cannot go and enter in their house at night or in the evening and you try to disturb them. So Supreme Court is looking into this, that can we, do this? That's one. Of course, this is another matter where they are very clear that there has been a lot of devastation. And then the former minister's name was Harak Singh Rawat. He is presently in Congress party. And the official's name is some Kishan Chand. He was the divisional forest officer. Supreme Court has come down heavily on them, and they are saying that they have thrown all the rules in the dustbin. And that's why for this matter, Supreme Court has clearly said that CBI should do a probe in this matter and submit the report within 3 months. Now, what about these trees that have been cut? And why is tiger so important? So Supreme Court is very clearly saying that, see, if there is tiger in the jungle, then it's clearly an indicator of the well-being of the ecosystem. So the ecosystem which revolves around the tiger under no circumstance can be affected. So illegal constructions cannot be done, the trees cannot be felled. All this should be stopped. Apart from this, as you can understand, they have formed another panel. In this panel, there would be members of NTCA, that is National Tiger Conservation Authority, plus Wildlife Institute of India, and Joint Secretary from the Ministry. And they will assess the damage that has been done at this point. Now, very nicely, yesterday, very correctly, the Supreme Court has said, assess the damage and get this cost recovered from all these people, individuals, officials who have, contributed to this tree cutting. And all the money that comes out of this should be utilized to restore these forests. And this is something that they have done. Of course, they will also talk about the tiger safaris. For example, whether it should be done in the core areas or in the peripheral areas. All this recommendation should come, and accordingly, the Supreme Court will look into that. So that's the other point that they are raising. Now, yesterday only the same bench also spoke that resorts near tiger reserves, they have become wedding destinations. And the problem is these wedding destinations which has mushroomed all around these reserves, they play a lot of music at very loud volume. So Supreme Court has come down heavily on this also. And again has asked the expert committee to look into what should be permitted in close proximity of the jungles. What all can be done and what cannot be done. Remember, the ecosystem, the environment of our country cannot be eroded for private, commercial, or any other purpose until the courts feel that it is absolutely needed, because they are needed for public good and in public interest. Then only you can do anything of that sort. Now, these were the articles that were totally new today. Now, these are certain articles. For example, page 10. Are legislators immune to bribery charges? Please see, 6th March we covered deprivileging bribe. 5th March we covered SCN's immunity for legislators taking bribes. Sorry. Now, when I read this article, trust me, very good article, but there was only one line which was new. So in very quick time, I will complete this for you. And anyways, all of you know on this article, tomorrow there is an explained session by Anubhav Saransh sir. So everyone, they are saying the story so far is that Supreme Court has ended the MP, MLAs, earlier they would claim that they had immunity if they had accepted bribery, and they were having immunity from prosecution. Supreme Court has clearly said this will not be there. So, no longer immunity if you say that under Article 105(2) or under Article 194(2), this is for MLAs, this is for MPs, no more immunity. Now, this was one part of this lecture. See here. The first part was this much. In the second part, what was the case? Again, we have studied this case regarding a JMM MLA named Sita Soren. She had taken bribe, and later she said that she had voted for her own candidate, so she could not be trialed because under Article 194(2) she had immunity. So this matter, earlier Jharkhand High Court had quashed this, and now Supreme Court has also said no, there will be prosecution against you. Now, on what basis was she saying that she cannot be trialed? So that's your third part. So the third part is that in 1998, a 5-judge bench led by the Chief Justice of India of those days, Mr. Bharucha, had given a judgment with the margin of 3:2 that in the JMM bribery case, there could not be any case made against those MPs who had taken bribes and voted in favor of the Congress government, which was in minority in those days. So this was the last time's judgments that the Supreme Court 5-judge bench said that these people have immunity under these articles. But now, this time, you can see what did the top court rule now. Now this time a 7-judge bench, they have said that this immunity that was there will no longer be there, because 1998 judge or panel had said that there is a difference between bribe giver and bribe taker. So bribe taker cannot be prosecuted because he enjoys immunity under Article 194(2) and Article 105(2). But then bribe giver could have been charged. But now Supreme Court is saying this has made no sense. This anomaly has to be removed. Both of them would be charged here. Both of them would be, punished. So this is the thing. Every point we have studied here. Now, on that day only, I had also said one thing which is new here. Please understand. In this, the court also said that the principles of the verdict will also apply equally when there are Rajya Sabha elections or when there is election for the president or vice president of the country. So only new thing that is mentioned in this article is, while saying this, the 7-judge bench, they have overruled their observations in a landmark judgment, that is Kuldeep Nayyar. Some of you may not have heard his name. A very, very good, I would say, journalist, very good journalist. His one book, Distant Neighbors, is a wonderful book. So Kuldeep Nayyar versus Union of India. This observations had come in 2006, and in this they had said that elections to Rajya Sabha are not the proceedings of legislature, but a mere exercise of franchise. So they said it falls outside the ambit of parliamentary privileges under Article 194. So this was another observation of theirs. Moving ahead to the next article, hundreds rally in Ladakh seeking statehood inclusion. In the last few days, last month, so many times. In nutshell, please understand, Ladakh is making some demands. What are their demands? You all can see. They are demanding that Ladakh should be given statehood, because after the division of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh has become a union territory. For the first demand they are making, make it state. Number two, they are saying please include us in the 6th schedule of the constitution, so that there are rights to the people. They would be considered the tribals, the scheduled tribes. They would have much more rights over here. Of course, the formation of a PSC, Public Service Commission, which we have studied, that they have done, the central government has done something with regards to this. And finally, they are demanding 2 Lok Sabha seats rather than 1. So they are saying one should be there for the Kargil and another one should be there for Leh. So 2 seats, these are their demands. All these talks which is being done with Home Ministry is being led by 2 bodies known as Leh Apex Body and Kargil Democratic Alliance. These 2 bodies are leading this talks with Home Ministry. And one very important name that comes here is Mr. Sonam Wangchuk. Many of you must be knowing him. Tell me, how do you know? He is going on a fasting. He is saying he'll go for a fast, demanding these things for the region. So that's a very old article. Many times we have seen. So just told you that this has again come, and you can go and watch in the previous lectures. We have covered it. Similarly, take 13,608 crores on offer. Supreme Court advises Kerala. If you see here, 10th February, Centre accounts for 60% of India's debt. Kerala tells Supreme Court. 7th February, severe erosion of fiscal federalism. Kerala is one of the most financially unhealthy states in the country. Centre. So this is an article which has been dominating the scene for the last 1 month. So what is this issue? Basically, in Supreme Court, a matter is going on between Kerala government and the union government. And Supreme Court is trying to do mediation to resolve this issue, which has created a financial emergency in the state of Kerala. So, bench has, asked the Kerala government that right now, go and meet the central team. They have already done one meeting which was inconclusive. They are saying again go and talk to them. Supreme Court is saying that for the time being, have the talks and accept this money that central government is offering, take it, and this way resolve the financial emergency that is going on in the state. Then whatever you want to talk about, more money and all, let us proceed with that. But for the time being, take this thing, accept the conditions, and keep on, utilizing this money to solve your issues. Now, already, as I said, on February 14, one round of talks had happened, which failed. Why did that fail? Because central government was asking Kerala government that take this money, but at the same time, withdraw this case, withdraw the suit. Now, everyone, what is this suit? What is this matter? This case is, as I said, filed by the Kerala government against the union government, accusing the union government that they are violating federal structure of governance. They are damaging the economy of a small state, and Kerala has meager resources. And that's why Kerala had initially asked, if I make it here, Kerala was asking, give us 26,226 crores immediately so that we can come out of this. You all can see it's basically around 51% of what Kerala is demanding that is being given right now by the central government. Now, if you all see, yesterday, the Supreme Court has also asked the union government that is it fair that you are making this as a condition to give the money? That, only when Kerala withdraws the case, you will give them money. Does it look good? In the Supreme Court, central government is saying, you cannot have both the ways. On one hand, you are arm twisting us. You are filing the case also and you get the money also. Both the things cannot happen. Either take back the case and take the money, or else keep on fighting. So that's the answer, and let us see more things would come from this. Now, another article that we have covered many times, human-wildlife conflict, a state-specific disaster. And yesterday or day before yesterday, basically, Kerala cabinet has declared that all these human-wildlife conflicts are state-specific disaster. Now, what does this do? This helps Kerala State Disaster Management Authority. To now play a much bigger role in this. Please understand, we have done it in big manners. For example, 15th February, Kerala House requests central government to amend Wildlife Act to tackle human-animal conflict. So we have done this earlier also. And Cabinet has also said we will form a committee to elevate the threat of wildlife to the humans. So these are the two things. Just remember this, that now this being a state-specific disaster, the Kerala State Disaster Management Authority comes into the play. Just one line from this. Other than that, we have covered everything earlier. Now, a small article. Yesterday only, if you all remember, we saw Indian troops out, Maldives inks defense pact with China. Already 6th February we talked about this. We talked 3rd February. So many times Maldives has been discussed. And yesterday we saw that Maldivian Defense Ministry announced signing a military pact with China. Now everyone, today a small article has come that under this Maldives will get free non-lethal military equipment and training from China's military under a new agreement with Beijing. Why this is a very alarming bells for India? Because for the first time Maldives has signed a deal with China for military cooperation at this level. Now, according to Mr. Muizzu, I don't know what he does and what he eats and drinks, but he says that this will strengthen nation's autonomy. So basically I think his point is, if Maldives sits in the lap of China, Maldives' autonomy would become better. But if he has studied what has been done by China in all the countries, whether you talk about Pakistan, you talk about the other African nations, you talk about your Myanmar and all, everywhere, wherever China has come, they have stamped their authority. The internal autonomy has been crushed, and the same thing would happen with Maldives, there is no doubt. But then, for us, a matter of grave concern that Maldives totally is going in the lap of China. 10th article, and again we talked many times. Hyderabad man forced to fight for Russia loses life. Now you all can see on 6th March, that is yesterday, we said 7 more Indians forced to fight in Russia seek government help. 27th February, several Indians released from Russian army, MEA. 24th February, Delhi approaches Moscow for early discharge of Indian army helpers. Nothing new. Unfortunate. This man, a young guy, Muhammad Asfan, a Hyderabadi man who went to Russia. Now, let me tell you, he was duped. Everyone, in this article, it is clearly written that a travel agent who has been identified by his YouTube channel known as Baba Vlogs had duped him. How? Because this man had assured that the work would never involve fighting. Mohammad Asfan had signed an agreement. This was in November, that he will go to Russia for a 1-year agreement. Unfortunately, again here the agreement was in Russian language, which you all can understand. This young man would not be knowing. He was duped, sent over there, and later when he went to Russia, he got to know that he had to fight for Russian soldiers. Unfortunately, there are so many such Indian men who have been duped in Russia, some on the grounds that they had gone there on tourist visas, some in different manners, and the Ministry of External Affairs is trying to get as many of them out, but this is the first known case where there is a victim. So he had traveled to Moscow. In this, it is written by Chennai and Sharjah. So everyone just remember one, even if you don't remember the name, but do remember that this, in this clash of Russia and Ukraine, in casualties, now there would be one of ours. Last topic, everyone, you all can see, yesterday we studied Philippine and Chinese vessels collide in disputed South China Sea. We have done it wholeheartedly yesterday. Today, US is using Philippines as a pawn in South China Sea. So this is an accusation by China on United States of America that Philippines is being used as a pawn by them in this South China Sea. And if you look at what Philippines is saying, they are saying we are greatly alarmed at what is going on. And according to Filipino commanders, this is the worst that's going on or that has happened in the last 2 years. So yesterday's news article only, slightly further I have told you South China Sea. Yesterday we saw ASEAN and all. Nothing new. I have already told you, repeated article. So this way all the articles for the mains are done. Let us come to prelims articles, in which one very, very important is Navy commissions INS Jatayu and MH-60R helicopter squadron. Now, first thing, INS Jatayu, where it is being commissioned. So if you see, INS Jatayu is being commissioned at Minicoy Island. Now, after INS Jatayu being commissioned, remember, this is our second base in Lakshadweep, because before this we also had INS Dweep Rakshak, and this was there in Kavarati. So everyone, the first base for India in Lakshadweep was this, and this is your second. Please remember for prelims both these statements. Now, you can see here, this one part is about INS Jatayu, another is MH-60R helicopter. Now, this is, as you can understand, a multi-role helicopter, and for this also a squadron named as INAS 334 Seahawks has been commissioned, and this has been commissioned at Kochi. So please remember, two very important addition to India's defense, both one in Kochi and another in Andaman and Nicobar, another in Lakshadweep Islands. Now, about this, in this article it is mentioned that through this, clearly you can see, we are doing a phased expansion in order to strengthen our surveillance as well as security posture. And in this article they are mentioning about a place name. They are mentioning that all these strategically important islands which are near the 9-degree channel, they are mentioning that we are strengthening ourselves here. Now everyone, my prelims question to you is 9-degree channel divides which two islands? Comment in the comment box. Let me see what you are mentioning. I'll tell you the answer also in some minutes. So we are saying that this 9-degree channel, which is very, very critical lane of communication, in this place we are strengthening ourselves. Our operations would get strengthened, our sustenance in this region would get sustenance, and overall this would also lead to a lot of development as far as these islands are concerned. So now if any one of you has already written this 9-degree channel, it's a channel that separates, or that's basically in Indian Ocean, as you all can understand, between the Lakshadweep Islands. There are two Lakshadweep Islands here. One is Kalpeni and Suhelipar, and between the Minicoy Island, they having a atoll known as Maliku Atoll. So between Lakshadweep Islands and Minicoy Islands, this channel of 9-degree operates or is going through. Moving ahead, PM launches India's first underwater metro line. So Prime Minister has inaugurated Kolkata's metros. Now those who are from Kolkata, Esplanade and Howrah Maiden section has been launched. Now this will operate under Hooghly River, and this is India's first underwater transportation tunnel. Through that, this metro would be going. So yesterday Prime Minister had traveled also on this metro, and this is around 4.8 kilometer stretch made at a cost of 5,000 crores. Apart from this, yesterday Prime Minister also started a almost 1,500 crore project. That's your airport line, and I took this because this section is named Kavi Subhash Hemant Mukhopadhyay. Now I don't know. See, I did not know about Kavi Subhash. I have no idea about this. But then I read about him and got that he was the recipient of Sahitya Akademi Award and even Gyanpith Award. Later also had received Padma Bhushan from the Indian government. So clearly a great man he would be when it comes to literary. But then when I saw this name, some of you, I don't know whether you are interested in old Hindi music or not. He's a great singer, has sung in many languages, Bengali, etc. But then, even today in the morning when I was traveling to take this class, I was listening to his songs. And I don't know how many of you have identified him, but he is the great singer, musician, Mr. Hemant Kumar. I don't know if you all have interest in old Hindi songs or not, but then one of his iconic songs, Bekarar karke hame yu na jaiye, aapko hamari kasam laut aiye. And so many iconic songs had been sung by this great man, had been awarded with some of the highest awards by the Indian government, had always refused them. So this is named after him. So keep a track on him. Next topic is also from Art and Culture. President presents Sangeet Natak Academy Award. Now if you see here, Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship, also known as Akademi Ratna, and Academy Awards, which we have given for the first time in 1952. Fellows will receive 3 lakh. Academy Award carries a prize money of 1 lakh. So if you see, Honorable President Madam Draupadi Murmu presented these awards for 2022-2023 for the artists in the field of performing artists. So these were given to these people. Many people, you can see here the pictures are given. Remember, these Sahitya Natak Academy Awards, they are the highest honor given to artists for their exceptional contribution in any of the performing art. So, for example, if in the field of music, dance, folk arts, tribal arts, similarly theatre, in so many areas these awards are given. Remember, there is one is fellowship and another is academy, that is Academy Award. Coming to the last article for the day, and I'm not teaching this, I hope you all know this, and if you have not, please do the geography lectures. Very, very important. 2023 El Nino amongst the strongest on the record. This is the prediction of World Meteorological Organization, and this prediction they made on March 5th. WMO is clearly saying, which is, you all know, a UN agency, that there would be above normal temperatures for almost all the areas, all the land areas between March and May. So clearly above normal temperature would be there. WMO also says that there is a 60% chance of this El Nino persisting during this particular period, and there is a 80% chance that between April to June there is a neutral period, that is neither there is El Nino, neither there is La Nina. So please study about El Nino, please study about La Nina, very, very important articles which you should keep in mind. Two mains questions: considering the harm caused by the sale of unauthorized drugs in India, discuss the role of drug regulators and doctors in stopping their sale. 10 marker, 150 words. And the other question: discuss the overall situation of women's participation in science and discuss the efforts being made to improve it. Discuss 15 marker, 150 words. So with that, we are done with this particular session. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Please understand, there would be certain days on which there would be so many articles, all would seem to be very, very important. And on those days, those who read the newspaper every day would know that they know a lot already compared to those who have started reading newspapers as recently. So my suggestion to you, please attend the DNAs on the same platform, Byjus IAS, at 10 a.m. every day. Do like it, do subscribe it, do comment it, and tell me the answers of the questions which I have asked you before. If you are listening to it later, before listening to it later, do try to answer the comment in the comment box about what answers are you giving. That's all from this session. Thank you. Goodbye.